All right, today in the Creative Corner on ESPN Richmond 106.1, we are here on Creative Hustle, where we like to ask creatives how they took their ideas and turned it into a business. And today we are joined by someone special because I finally get to talk to someone who does something a little bit similar to what I do on the side. So everybody, welcome Armon Burnett from Opulence Radio. Armon, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for joining me in the Creative Corner, where I like to ask people how they took their ideas and turned it to a business. And I just want to ask you, how did you get started? Tell us a little bit about Opulence Radio and how you got started.
Yes. So I actually fell in love with podcasting about 2 years ago. I started a podcast, According to This Black Girl. I'm the co-host of that as well, with my best friend. And it was weird. We started doing this as like a form of therapy. Like this was just a way of just, releasing some angst and getting out our feelings and sharing our opinions. But it actually kind of turned into a tad bit of an addiction. So with preparing for my podcast, I had to start listening to other podcasts. And then that just became my thing.
What are some of your favorites?
Like if I'm walking down the street with my iPod's in, like I'm listening to a podcast. I'm so sorry. I can't hear you.
What's one of your favorite podcasts?
Ooh, my favorites right now is Horrible Decisions.
I like that.
They're funny. They are so funny. And I just like how raw and honest they are, because I think a lot of times with women, we get into there's like a form of like delicacy we have to perform. Like, I don't do this, I'm a lady, I do this. And sometimes women are just out there just like men. Like, we're human, sexuality is a thing. And I love how they touch on that. But with my podcast, According to This Black Girl, we focus on everything. Life, mental health, dating, being a parent, a mix of everything.
We are in the Creative Corner with Armon Burnett of the Opulence Radio. So tell us, for the people who don't know what the Opulence Radio is, tell us what it is.
It is your only 24/7 podcast radio station, which focuses on podcasting for the culture. All our podcasts are Black creators, and they're all a little bit different. And I think a lot of times, especially with Black voices, with larger networks, I created this radio station as a way to spread our voice on a different platform. How I podcast personally is I always ask Alexa, play so-and-so podcast. And I felt like, what if I just wanted to keep listening? And I didn't want to listen to the same voice over and over. Like, there has to be something that just keeps good content going. And that's what Opulence Radio is, an amazing collection of awesome content.
That's amazing, Armon. Like, and it's funny because I literally kind of started the same way. And I started back in 2014 when podcasting wasn't really a thing for Black folks. So It's been a while that I've seen the transition into what it has become. What does it mean to you as a creative to provide opportunities to, other Black creatives? Speak to that.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't understand your question.
Is that cutting out? Oh, hold on. No, I was saying, can you speak to what it means to you to be able to provide a platform that helps out Black creators?
Oh, yes. So basically having a platform where we have a voice on what is important to us, not what society is telling us what is important to us, is very important. All my creators come from different points of life. I have some people from across the pond, from England, some people from Jamaica, Canada, the South. We all have different stories. And my story specifically is important the way it is narrated by me. And so is our other podcast as well. I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to like networks and larger voice, from non-people of color, they want to attach an identity to us, and I want to be my own narrator.
Okay, I respect that answer. We're on Creative Hustle in the Creative Corner with Armon Burnett.
Yes.
Sorry,
I wasn't going to correct you.
Armon Burnett, and we are talking about the world of podcasting. And running a network has been hard. Managing people is extremely hard. And just like you, I have hosts from around the world that I've worked with. Talk about some of the hardest struggles that you have in being the person who provides the opportunity and what that has done to you or how some people may receive that?
It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, especially with the whole, everyone doesn't do business how you do business. And especially when it comes from a creative aspect, man, it's sometimes some weird stuff happens.
Oh, we can talk.
Try to take that with a grain of salt and respect it. Like, just because you don't make your peanut butter and jelly, being able to take more things and just roll with the punches a little bit, but working with different creatives has been a challenge, especially when it's with podcasting, we create our own narrative. A lot of people might come in and say, like, I have a podcast I've been doing for 6 months and have 37 seasons, because you determine what a season is. You might look on there and it's like, girl, you've only got like 15 minutes worth of content. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, I'm an artist as well. And, I'm gonna respect your stuff if you respect mine.
Mine.
It's just a thing of learning. Everyone does things different. It's like a recipe. I make my chicken a little bit different than yours, but it all can taste good. And that's the thing, it's a collaborative.
How do you manage just all the shows? Do you have a team? How do you manage everything that you do for the podcast that you're bringing in? And what exactly are you doing for them?
Amazing time management. I have a smaller team right now. I've been able to really collaborate with some amazing people, especially other people have done podcasts as well. And the way podcasts come through to us, it's kind of like almost like a pre-session. Like, if you make it past door 1 and door 2, you definitely can come through door 3. But sometimes we like to, check behind each other as well, because what I like might not be what you like. Exactly. And I might see a gem in this person's voice or see the potential in them that you might not see. So it's really seeing people for the raw of their talent and realizing how they can go. So what I like to do is speak to my artists and, like, where do you see your podcast going? Like, why did you start podcasting? If you're simply telling me because I wrote a book or I was in a movie and I want people to know my name, I don't want to work with you. But if you clearly have a voice and you have a message, or you have something that you want to say, I want to listen.
We're in the Creative Corner on ESPN Richmond 106.1 with Armon Burnett of Opulence Radio. And, one of the last questions that I have for you is, speak to leadership. Mm-hmm. If, when you're a creative, especially when you have to do things on your own, start on your own, learn from scratch, you teach yourself these leadership skills. And when you put yourself into positions such as us, where you're helping people out, and then you have to learn leadership as you go, what are some of the things that kind of taught you, like, over time? Like, okay, podcast 1, definitely can't do that right now. Like, so, because mine was talking to people. Like, I just used to write crazy emails because I'm like, okay, these are cool people who are cool with me. So I could talk in jargon and slang and all of that. And everyone doesn't receive my harsh New York tone well. Mm-hmm. So how does that work out for you? And what leadership skills have you really learned in this process?
I've learned that not to take things too personally. From being in New York, I am dipped in sugar from the South. And sometimes people's approach isn't how they mean for things to come off. Yeah. I just try not to take things too personally, but when it comes down to business, I'm always professional. And as long as we can be professional together, that's the way we can work. But sometimes taking yourself back from that leadership position and thinking about bigger for the network in general. Is this going to be good for Opulence Radio in the long run? 2 years from now, am I going to be upset I played this episode? Or is this going to be something that's going to be great for us? And that's been the hardest part for me, because I love everything and I love everybody, but you sometimes just got to, cut the fat.
Sometimes you just have to cut the fat. Mm-hmm. Armon, that's an excellent way to wrap that up. Tell the people on Create and Hustle where they can find you, where they can find Opulence Radio, how they can get in touch with you if they have a show that they may want to feature on your network.
Definitely go to opulenceradio.com. We are available for streaming on Alexa and on Google Assistant. And you can also find us at Opulence Radio 01 on Instagram. My DMs are always open. Don't worry, I'll reply.
Well, folks, you heard it first right here on Create and Hustle, where we like to ask creatives how they took their ideas and turned into a business right here on ESPN Richmond 106.1. And Armon, I thank you for joining me because listen, I be needing to hear these tips because I be going through it on this network. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.